will, so we'll go through this chapter today. Let me see. Oh, 42 slides. That's not too, oops. 42 slides. That's not too bad. We'll get through this today for sure. And then we just have our last exam, which is just over these last few chapters. Again, I can't think of it just off the top of my head, which ones those are, but on the syllabus, whichever those last few chapters are. And I have it that our exam will be through next week, right? Because next week is finals week. But if I get this up and put together, this class is a little, this is one of what, like, I think only the second time I've taught human sexuality online. So I still have a little bit of like work and effort that I have to put into making the tests for this class. So if I get that up over the weekend, whenever I get it up, I'll just go ahead and open it, okay? Instead of making you all wait till Monday. I'll just go ahead and open it, and I'll still keep it open all the way through Wednesday. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and check just because since I have you all on here. Now, you guys, of course, you know, I'm just preaching to the choir with you guys, but for anybody else who doesn't know me, who doesn't, you know, hasn't taken my classes or anything, you know, I'm putting it through Wednesday, and that gives me time for anybody who didn't make the cutoff date, anybody who misses it, that allows us for Thursday and Friday at the absolute latest for you all to make up that test or to get it done, because at midnight on Friday, the 14th, I believe it is, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't allow you in. I can't, oops, I realized it stopped sharing. Why did it do that? Isn't that weird? Can you see that? No, it just, anyways. So, oh my gosh, now I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, it only wants me to share this for some reason. Okay. Anyways, on the syllabus, it's on there. But I'll go ahead and open it sooner when I get it ready. You have till Wednesday to finish it of next week. Please, 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 anything that you're missing, please make it up. Please do it. Please, I know you need this class. You know, I know we need it to check a box. So don't let this, you know, just get everything done that you need to, okay? I want you all to do well. I want you to be successful. And so let's do our stuff, okay? All right, so let's start with chapter 16, and we go over kind of where the legal side meets sexuality. Okay, so sexual assault, harassment, and we'll talk about domestic abuse too, because that obviously has to do with relationships and things like that. So to get into this is just covering two definitions. Let me just say this right now, that these laws are state laws, okay? So it depends on the state where you are and how these various like attacks will be, what they'll be called and how they are charged, okay? So right now, like in the last, I don't know, however many years, you start to hear more things about sexual assault because that's a really big umbrella term, okay? It's a big catch-all. And a lot of states, including Texas, moved to sexual assault because rape was so narrow. It was such a narrow definition that you had some people get off because it wasn't exactly this. And because it says by the penis, right? So if they used something else, then they couldn't be charged with rape, you know, and that's just incorrect, right? You know, there are plenty of cases where not to be too graphic, but people use all kinds of things to assault a woman or a child. And so it doesn't have to be with the penis, okay? So we went into sexual assault. And so this is any violent or non-consensual act involving physical contact of a sexual nature. So it's a very big umbrella term, okay? And a lot of these also, if we were going to go with rape, or they do talk about this too, that it's performed by force or threat of force. And so just these words right here are really big and important for the victim, okay? Because the guy could sit there and say, well, she didn't say no. She didn't say no. And it might be that, well, because he told me if I said no, he's going to kill my family. Or if I said no, he would kill me. Or I didn't say no because he had a gun to my head. Okay, so there just has to be a threat of force. Here it's saying penetration does not have to be complete. Again, that they're trying to kind of broaden the rape term, but we'll see. And again, it just depends on the state. Statutory rape, we've heard of this. This is has to do with age or an inability to give consent because of intellectual disability or unconsciousness. Okay, so this is where what was his name? Brock Turner, I want to say is his name. This was the kid that at Stanford that assaulted that young girl, and he used his fingers. He didn't use his penis, and she was unconscious, right? So all these legal terms, can get kind of complicated, I guess, and that's why we pay lawyers to do their thing, right? Date rape is the #1 way for girls to be assaulted, and guys to be assaulted. And this is, some sort of something is, they've gone out on a date, they're friends, they're hanging out at, at someone's apartment or a dorm room or something like that, and they like each other, but at some point it turns, and the victim is saying no, and the aggressor obviously does not take that no and continues on. Okay. So we'll get into these, okay? So again, see, I like it when the slides read my mind. These legal definitions, obviously, they're going to vary from state to state. So that's just, something we got to deal with. Young women, obviously, are the #1 by far most common frequent victims of sexual assault. That's not to say that men are not, they are, but it's astronomical, the young women. Most perpetrators are men. We're not saying that all men are perpetrators, no, but when you look at the perpetrators, most of them are men, okay? And most are known to their victim. So, it's very uncommon because it's very uncommon that you would be picked up by some stranger in a van driving by, right? Or that stranger kind of idea that we scare young girls about is so rare. It's usually someone you know. Okay. All right. All right, let's see. So, here is the relationship. So by far it is, someone, even a current partner or a former, so a current boyfriend, a former boyfriend, a husband. Yes, a husband can rape and assault a wife, a current partner, or an ex-husband, something like that. And then well, family member, person of authority, you can see that's pretty low. Acquaintance, right? This is where a lot of the date rape and stuff like that comes in. So this is a friend, somebody you're, kind of talking to, texting or something like that. And so here's the stranger, right? Is pretty rare. We hear a lot of times about, why do we tell girls to protect themselves? Why don't we just tell men not to rape? Well, we do, right? We do tell men not to rape. It's against the law. Just like we tell people don't murder, don't steal, don't, I don't know, break into people's houses. We do say that. That doesn't mean they're going to do it, right? And that doesn't mean that we just leave our house unlocked and our keys in our car running because it's like, well, we told them, we should tell them not to do it. It's like we do, but we also take precautions. We take precautions to protect ourselves, and we do things so that we don't increase the likelihood that something will happen to us. Okay. So there are education programs out there. There are organizations out there that try to talk to men, that try and educate them on, how do we calm ourselves down? What does no mean? When people say things, how do we take that, and so on and so on. So, we do try and do this. And for the most part, this isn't the stats, but there really has been a decrease in rapes overall. Okay, so that's really good. I guess men are getting the picture, and women are asserting their whatever their, I don't know what the word is, but and asserting themselves more. And men now, there's more serious charges towards men and for doing things like that. So that's good. However, we know that most assaults are not reported. And I think you could see that glaringly during the Me Too movement. I think a lot of people were surprised by how many women were willing to come forward and say, this has also happened to me. I've just never said anything. I never reported it. And that's should be shocking to society, I believe. So we do have, most are not reported. So here it's saying that sexual violence against college students has dropped. Here it's saying female college students are less likely to have experienced sexual assault than compared to women, though, who are not in college. So just a little bit about this. Yes, it is declining, which is good, but that does not mean that it's not happening. Okay. In fact, we have numbers that we believe about 1 in 4 girls will experience some sort of sexual assault while they're in college, and they are certainly way more likely to be assaulted compared to a female that is not in college. Okay, just some tips for you guys that most occur after 6 p.m. Most is in the victim's own residence, and most know the perpetrator. Okay, so just be cautious, right? So here's this cold to hot empathy gap is an interesting idea, and a lot of research is happening within this area. And so what they do is they take men and they ask them these questions, and the 2 scenarios are either they are not aroused or they are. Okay, so purple is not aroused and orange is they are currently sexually aroused. So you can look at these questions and see, so this first one, would you tell a woman that that you loved her so that you can increase the chance that she would have sex with you? And you can see here that about 30% of men, if they're not aroused, would answer yes to that question, compared to 50% of men while they're aroused say, yeah, I'd tell her I love her. Would you encourage your date to drink to increase the chance that she would have sex with you? Okay, so about 45% of men non-aroused said yes, while they're aroused, over 60% said they would. Would you keep trying to have sex after your date says no? When they're not aroused, 20%, right? So pretty low, right? Say that they would do that. 45% say yes, that they would keep trying, okay? Would you use a condom? Even if you were afraid that she might change her mind when you went to get it. The non-aroused were like, yeah, of course I would, no matter what, right? Once they're aroused, that drops, okay? Then they might say, maybe not, right? I don't want to lose my chance, okay? So this is an interesting lab experiment that is reinforcing the real world experience that probably many women and men are well aware of, that once he's already aroused, it's going to be very difficult to calm down, to turn it off, to empathize with the female. Okay, so that testosterone is a strong hormone that can feed some of these behaviors. Excuse me. Members of sports teams have a pretty bad record of being perpetrators of sexual violence. So when you compare these to non-athletes, our athletes say, I insisted on sex when my partner did not want it. I used threats to make my partner have sex with me, and I used force to make my partner have sex with me, compared to very low, right, for our non-athletes. And again, this one, there could be it could be a testosterone thing, and it could also just be, some people say that athletes are just kind of used to getting what they want. They're treated like royalty. They never get in trouble. And maybe socially that has just kind of allowed them to do things like this. So incapacitated rape, or like we were saying, statutory rape, where they're not able to make that legal consent because of incapacitation. This is either from alcohol or from drugs. But I think it's very important to know the number one original OG date rape drug is alcohol. Okay. I know we hear things about roofies and I don't know, stuff they're going to put in your drink and drug you and things like that, but the fact that you're drinking is already it. Okay. So we really want to be careful with just the drinking. Either the victim has had a few drinks, and almost like 99% of the time the perpetrator has been drinking. So, again, I know this makes women upset, but it's just to take extra steps to protect yourself, right? So women can do things to try and protect themselves. We know, don't go somewhere alone. Don't be out drinking at a bar by yourself. Don't get so blackout drunk at a bar or a club or a house that you don't know what's happening to you. I worked at the bars forever, and you don't know how many times we'd go in and there's just a girl passed out in the bathroom, and it's like, where are her friends? Where, it's just, and I'm not blaming her. And of course, if anything happened to her, it's not her fault, but she's certainly not in control of herself. And there's nothing she would be able to do at that moment to protect herself. And so you have to be in charge of yourself too. So when or if something happens, obviously there's a lot of services out there, depending on your, I guess your health, your physical health. We really advise you to go to seek medical help. Here in El Paso, the #1 place for females to get proper rape collection, evidence collection is Sierra Providence, okay, Sierra Medical Center. And this was told to me from Professors Hernandez and Brockhoff. They were military, or not military, they were sheriff and police officer. That another thing, if you're having to collect evidence, then the laboratory and the people who collect the evidence can also be drawn into the courtroom. And the procedures for how they take the evidence can be called into the courtroom. And so the #1 place here is Sierra. Okay, so I just want y'all to know that. Don't take a shower, don't, do anything, just go get medical help. Of course, there would initiate the police and everything happening. Now, if it's not at that point and you don't need medical assistance, or you don't think there's anything that a rape kit would help you, call the police. But you have to know that when the police come to talk to you, they may not be the nicest people on earth. They may not be very empathetic to you. I wish they were, but they may not. And I guess we just say, try to understand that they're just trying to collect evidence, and they're trying to be impartial, and they're just trying to listen to everything. They might ask you questions that really upset you and make you mad, but try and understand that it's just they have to ask, right? So if they ask things like, well, did you say no? They're not trying to place blame on you. They just need to know that, right? So try and understand that the way that they're collecting the data in your statement is going to help them with pressing charges against the person. So I guess try and view it that way. Okay. Obviously, look at the foot to the face. Self-defense, yes, let's try and do that. But you can't just go take a couple classes, guys. You've got to do something that you do it so many times that it becomes second nature, because in a real life situation, it's a lot different, and you need to have so much experience and muscle memory so that you know what to do. Taking, I don't know, a couple self-defense classes, sure, it might teach you a couple things, but it's not going to be much of anything. And I hate to say that, but it's true. This is in India because it's very common for girls to be raped over there. So, there was a campaign that was going around that was trying to talk to men and encourage men, to be, not the aggressors and so on. So it might work. I don't know, hopefully it works. These look like pretty nice, strong men. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So counseling plays a vital role in trying to get a rape assault victim from the victim mentality to the survivor mentality. And that's just, you know, kind of going into a growth mindset that something bad happened to me, but I can overcome this. Okay. Obviously, rape can inflict long-lasting psychological injury, and we often it's very similar to PTSD. We call it rape trauma syndrome, and the only difference is it's pretty much PTSD, but then you have some sexual side effects as well. You know, exposure therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, things like that, all of these different ways to treat and talk to and help a victim out. Male victims of rape are a special population, and they can have their own set of emotional problems after rape. And so, you know, we want to be careful with our male victims. Rapes of males are usually a power move, and it can make another male feel very, very, you know, demasculated, if that's a word. I don't know if I just made that up or not, but demasculated, or it just can